Okay, welcome everyone to this deep dive.
Good to be here.
So today we're digging into a really interesting source. It's basically an intro video for a learning program, a specific journey for data analysis.
Right, it maps out a path.
Okay.
And our mission really is to unpack what that journey actually is, who the source says it's aimed at, and, what you might expect if you decided to follow it.
Exactly. And they're quite upfront about the target audience, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. They mention students, people looking to switch careers, and, well, pretty much anyone curious about data who feels that classic thing of just not knowing where to even start.
That where do I begin feeling. Yeah, we hear that a lot.
And the source makes a pretty bold promise, especially given that feeling. It talks about going from an absolute beginner, zero knowledge,
Right.
to being a confident data analyst. And the really attention-grabbing part, they claim you can do it in just 30 days.
30 days, wow. That's quite the time frame. So it's very structured, targeting that specific where to begin problem head on.
Precisely. A structured 30-day plan.
So how does the source say this actually works? What's the structure like?
Well, it's based around daily videos, short, focused videos every single day for that month.
Okay, daily content. And what kind of stuff do they cover in these videos?
It seems pretty foundational, but practical. They kick things off with the absolute basics, like getting Python installed and set up, the main language.
Python, right? The cornerstone.
Then it moves into the key libraries you need within Python. They specifically call out NumPy and Pandas.
Okay, for listeners maybe hearing those names, what's the quick takeaway? What does the source imply these are actually for?
Good question. It doesn't get super technical in the intro, but the idea is Python's the engine. NumPy is for, heavy-duty math on lots of numbers.
Got it. High-performance calculations.
Yeah. And Pandas, well, that's framed as your main tool for actually handling the data. Manipulating it, analyzing it, sort of like a super spreadsheet, I guess you could say.
Super spreadsheet, I like that. So those three are the foundation.
That's what the source suggests, yeah. The critical starting toolkit.
And what about the way they teach it? The approach?
This seems key. They really emphasize no fluff, no long, boring lectures.
Okay.
It's meant to be very hands-on. You're apparently diving straight into coding, using real-world examples, tackling actual challenges right from the get-go.
Immediate application then. That sounds appealing for beginners who want to do something quickly.
Definitely. And they stress that it starts from absolute scratch, like zero assumptions about what you know beforehand.
So even if you've never coded.
Exactly. They explicitly say that getting your environment set up, installing Python, using tools like Jupyter Notebook, which they call your new best friends, that happens on day one.
So they tackle that initial hurdle, the tech setup that scares a lot of people off straight away.
Right on day one. Get that out of the way, then start using the tools immediately.
Okay. And then it builds from there.
Seems so. Daily steps covering things like data cleaning, dealing with messy, imperfect data.
Which is most real-world data, let's be honest.
Absolutely. And then data visualization, turning those numbers into charts, graphs, something that tells a story.
Makes sense. And it all leads somewhere.
Yeah, the source says it culminates in building a real-world project by the end of the 30 days, so you apply everything you've learned.
That project piece sounds crucial. Makes you integrate it all.
For sure.
So, thinking about our listener, if you're out there feeling that frustration, wanting to get into data, but just completely overwhelmed about the first step, well, this deep dive shows that these kinds of very structured, very practical, beginner-focused paths do exist. Paths designed specifically for that feeling.
Yeah, looking at the whole picture the source paints, it's this tight step-by-step journey. Set up on day one, learn the core tools, Python, NumPy, Pandas, pick up key skills like cleaning, visualizing, and then prove it with a project, all in 1 month. It's consistently hands-on, starts from zero, built piece by piece.
Yeah, the argument from the source seems to be that this focused, practical structure is really effective for cutting through that initial beginner confusion.
It certainly highlights the potential power of, structure and intense focus when learning something new.
It really does. Which leads to a final thought, maybe. Considering an approach like this structured 30-day plan, aimed at going from zero to, confident analyst, as they say, how much difference could one really focused month make for you in tackling whatever complex new skill you've been wanting to learn but haven't known how to start?
Something to think about.